How you guys doing? Josh here with Ohio Fish Rescue. Today we are going to talk about fish facts and things you may or may not know about some of your most common and some not so common species that are in the fish keeping hobby. So let's get to it. First up on the list is one of these little buggers in this 1,000-gallon aquarium. Let's see, where can I find them? Actually, I already showed them, but we're gonna go ahead and talk about this little beauty right here. This is a clown loach. You guys see them in your local pet stores all the time. They can get very, very big. The largest one I've seen was over 18 inches long. They are very slow growers, but they do love to show in groups. The more clown loaches you have in a tank, they will all group together and they will form a nice little shoal, and they will be very active. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about a crazy fish fact about the clown loach. So I went for the longest time without knowing this. It wasn't until I had a larger clown loach above 10 inches and I actually removed them from the water and I went to go grab them out of the net and I got stabbed, and I'm like, ow, that really hurts. Which, you know, getting stabbed would usually cause that effect. But this was different. This was a bone. It actually went inside my hand, and I looked at the side of the clown loach, and right behind, like his head right there, there was these little bones and one really long one that popped out. And it's actually a defensive mechanism for clown loaches. The smaller ones don't really do it as much, or you don't notice the size of the bones on them, so you might not have, seen this. But on large clown loaches, you can see it, and it's very predominant. And I went the whole first part of my fish keeping career with not even knowing this, but, they can tear up nets. And of course, if you get stabbed, it does hurt for a few days after. Mine just so happened it went into my hand, so it went into soft tissue, and it was very, very deep. So it did get infected. I had to keep on cleaning it. So yeah, that is a super neat fact about the clown loaches that some of you may or may not know. But while he is in frame, we're going to go ahead and talk about something else that both these fire eels and the clown loaches do. So when these guys are sleeping, clown loaches will always go and lay on the bottom of the tank, and they will appear to be dead. I get people coming in here all the time, and they're like, oh my god, that fish is dead. And I'm like, no, they just like to play dead. So you go up and you tap on the glass, and he'll get up and he'll scurry off. But this guy right here also does the same thing. These guys will lay on their side or upside down, and they will appear to be dead. I don't know. It might be something with their behavior in the wild with other predators in the water. I don't know. You can also see right there, there is the fire eel. I caught it on camera. He looks to be dead, but you go ahead and tap on the glass, and hang on. We will get him up. There he goes. They go into this deep slumber, and they'll flip over, and they'll show their belly and look dead. Maybe that's something that they do out in the wild to make predators think that they are not alive, and they show their belly, and they think that they're dead, and they'll just leave them alone because fish won't really go after a dead fish. They'd rather go after a live one. It's just the scavengers you have to worry about for dead fish. So that's a neat little thing there with the fire eels. But during the daytime, they look like these little guys, just super happy and always wanting to see food. Cute little guys. Definitely a personality in the fish tank that is very attractive. Like, look at that. How could you not love that fish? Beautiful. And the fire eels are really tame. They're not really aggressive towards their own kind. But however, you get like tire track eels, they can be aggressive. Same thing with the black spotted. Now we've gotten lucky in our tank because we give them enough room that they're not fighting over different territories, so they happen to leave each other alone. So I wasn't fortunate enough to find the clown loaches actually laying on the bottom, but you guys did just see what I was talking about with the fire eel. Now for those of you that are going to ask, that is an old wound on the African scat that is healing up nicely. So before you guys ask about that, I just wanted to point that out. So that was fish fact number 1 with the clown loaches, and a little fun fact about the fire eels as well. So let's move on to the next one. Fish fact number 2 has to do with this gorgeous fellow right down here. This is an Abba knife, and he comes all the way from the Nile River over in Africa. Now, this is a very attractive fish that many people want if they are a hobbyist, but you have to watch out because these guys are very, very aggressive. When they're smaller, not so much, but as they grow, and they can get up to 5 foot long, these guys have 5 rows of razor sharp teeth, and they can come up and take a chunk out of you that with like razor like precision, if someone just took a scalpel and just took a chunk out of you. So it's really neat to see these guys feed and see that behavior, but that's not the fun fact we came to talk about. I talked about, you know, aggression and all this. But to team up with that, you can see their eyes are very, very tiny. So as if they are almost blind. That is because they are. So the Abba knife actually it has very poor sight, and they actually see through an electric pulse that they put out through the water. So right now I have the bubbles in there kind of, you know, affecting that, so he can't get a proper read. But if you have him in a calm tank, he'll put out this pulse, and the second I dip my finger into the water, he will basically ping in on it, and he will shoot right up there because he knows there's food living in his water. So that's also why it's a little bit harder to get Abba knives off of live food, because that's how they're used to hunting. They use this device that, you know, that they were given to be able to hunt and hunt for food. So that is a super cool fish fact, if you ask me. But it's super neat to see him actually put it to use whenever I stick the drainage hose into this tank, or, you know, a net of some sort. There will be times he'll come jetting right over, and he'll know just right where it is, and he will latch right on, and he will bite it. You can actually feel the power in this fish. He's about 2 foot long now. He's actually getting ready. We are just about to move the koi from behind the pond, and he will be going into a 195 back there. So he will get a major tank upgrade. We have been working a little slower around here, but that is because we just got back from taking Shaquille O'Neal his awesome koi. So you guys are going to want to stay tuned for that video that is upcoming. So that is enough for fish fact number 2 and this awesome Abba knife. So next set of fish facts bring me over to this 265, where we have this Hydraulicus armatus. This is a beast of a fish, and this is not for beginning fish keepers whatsoever. These are a very hard fish to keep alive and give the right parameters to be able to have them thrive and grow. But these guys can get very, very large. They can get up to 5 foot long, and they have these large, super large, saber-toothed fangs. Now, that's where the fish fact comes into play. You guys can see that them 2 front fangs are rather large. We're going to start off with teeth. They actually shed their teeth, and when a new one is growing in, it'll actually be laying down, like pointing in towards their bottom jaw, and as they grow, the teeth will actually flip out, and then they'll line up to where the tooth would go back into the recess in the upper jaw. So I always find fangs laying on the bottom of this tank, and that shows the fish is growing. Now he's been growing super quick, so he's been shedding a lot, and each time the teeth get bigger and bigger. It's actually quite impressive. But to go along with that, these guys have a bacteria on their teeth that is pretty nasty, and that's where my fish fact was going with this guy. But the larger they get, the more bacteria they have on the teeth, of course. But if you get bit by this guy, you are going to have to go to a doctor and possibly get some sort of injection to take care of the bacterial infection that comes along with being bit by this guy. That is also why, you know, smaller fish or even big fish, they get bit by one of these guys and it's game over for them. So I try not keeping anything in here that he will want to go after, because they do like going after other silver fish or fish with big eyes or fast moving fish. So that is very hard to keep certain fish in with these guys, knowing that behavior about them. These guys are also a timid, very sensitive fish. You do not want to be moving these guys around all too often. They can stress out and die in the blink of an eye, or you can, you know, go up and freak them out and they'll hit the side of the glass and they'll end up dying from that wound. So you want to be very careful with these guys. And I just thought that it was a super neat fact that these guys have that bacteria on their teeth and it can cause damage. And the first time I actually seen this fish shed their teeth, I was like, wow, that is super cool. So I'm hoping one of these days, if I catch it early enough and I see the tooth's about to fall out, I can actually get it on sort of a time lapse or something like that, and then I can do like daily progressions of the tooth actually coming in. I think that would be a really sweet video for you guys. But let's go ahead and move on to the next fishy fact. So now, mind you guys, we just got back from Shacks and we went on a little bit of a power feeding binge here. We fed a few more tanks than we normally do to get everyone caught up. So you can see the 4400's nice and clear, the 1000's nice and clear, but the 2200 and the 750 over there is kind of a bit cloudy, and over here the 3000 is a bit cloudy because I just got done feeding these guys. But we're gonna go ahead and talk about this beauty right here. That is a tam Beaky. That is also known as a black Pacu. And you can see there's Big Betty over there in the corner. You guys always ask about her. She's doing wonderful. We've got other Pacus in the tank as well. But looking over here at the tam Beaky, this is a true black Pacu, and you can see he's got that olive green sheen to him. He's got these two little tiny like fang-like things on his lip, and he's got that gouge in the top of his head. Every tam Beaky has those traits. You can see what I'm talking about right there. It looks like just a gaping hole. But black Pacu are not to be mistaken for this guy right here, which is solid jet black. This is a common, you know, red belly Pacu, and he actually just turned jet black. We have other red belly Pacu like Big Betty over here. She's more of a gray tone, but that's still a normal red belly Pacu. True black Pacu are olive green, and they also get the largest of all Pacu species. And this is a common misconception that most people, you know, don't really get right in the hobby, that they see a Pacu and he's all black. They're like, oh, I have a black Pacu, it must be worth something. Well, let's not get mistaken. True black Pacu, as you can see, is olive green with that two-tone belly like a normal Pacu. They have the different traits here. These guys are called a tam Beaky, and they come from South America. But these guys are very slow growing, and they will get over 40 inches long, as opposed to a regular red belly can get, you know, 36 inches or so. So I thought that was a pretty neat fact about these guys right here. So you guys caught me filming at just the right split second here. We are out in the monster pond room before the lights actually kick on, because it's just getting dark enough that the photo cell doesn't know it's nighttime, getting to be nighttime yet. So the lights have not kicked on. So the water's looking pretty dark and eerie. You guys can see this with virtually no light on it. It's still crystal clear. Of course, there's your boy Brutus. He's starting to get some nice red coloring on him, almost halfway up his body. I can't wait to see how that progresses. But this was a video about fish facts, so I hope you guys did enjoy it. Now, if you guys have any sort of cool fish video suggestions that you guys would like me to, you know, feature and do a video on, that, you know what, you'd think I'd be able to talk about and you would actually want to learn and listen about, I would be more than happy to read over the comments as I do on most videos, if not all. And I do take things that you guys say into account. So you guys have actually given me some video ideas in the past, and I really liked them, and I went ahead and did them. So if you guys have any more suggestions, go ahead and drop them in the comments below, and we can see what we can do here. But I think that's it for today's video. And if you guys want to see more crazy adventures with the Ohio Fish Rescue, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And as always, stay fishy, my friends.